Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of What If As Was More Like Red. So this is going to be the second episode. The title of this episode is Living the Net. And if you haven't subscribed my channel, then subscribe and turn on the bell icon for the notification of my series. So let's begin. In the small rural farm community of Pallet Town, the sun began its slow rise. Most residents of the Pallet Town, be they people or Pokemon, slept blissfully, unaware of a dawn of a new day. As Red Ketchum was not most people, he was awake in his room, dressed, ready to go out, making one final check over the supplies in his green backpack. Today was the day his life truly began. The day as Red Ketchum started his Pokemon journey, the young man in question was a boy of 10 years of age with messy black hair, a skinny frame. In the worldwide of Pokemon, this is the age when children became eligible to start their Pokemon journey. Some wait longer and some never embark on a journey to begin with, but most do go on a journey at some point. It is a rite of passage undertaken to turn children into mature adults. For as he has been ready for this day for what felt like all his life, he has dedicated his young life to preparing for this day with the aid of local professor and Pokemon expert Samuel Oak. As had studied countless hours in anticipation of this day, he read both books and published journals, watched countless league battles, and even assisted the professor in his research with Pokemons. The Pokemons that the professor has at his ranch. True, he enjoyed learning from the books and professor. What truly captured his attentions were the many battles, the coolness between the trainer, the Pokemon, the strategy undertaken in each battle, the sweet taste of victory. As saw this and he cared for it. He would rise to the top, he would be a Pokemon master. It was what he was born to do. Satisfied that he had packed everything in his bag, as put on his bag and headed downstairs. He arrived to a smell of a wonderful breakfast, and his smiling mother, Delia Ketchum, was a pleasant woman in her early 30s. With an outgoing personality, she had been a constant source of support for aspiring Pokemon master and his only parents, as had always asked her about his father, but she never said much on the topic. She said that he was a man of few words, but had a passion for battling and stopped to be a Pokemon master just like you. As for what happened to the man she loved, she did not know. Nobody knew. He disappeared almost 11 years ago, shortly after Delia found out she was pregnant with her son. Through her son had inherited her outgoing nature, she still saw the same looks in her son's eye that his father had. I made your favorite today as pancakes, biscuits, and a pallet of bacon. Your cooking is always the best, Mom. I'm going to miss this very much, said the boy as he sat down and began to devour the meal. The response from made Delia pause and almost frown for a moment. She was proud of her son, to be sure, but couldn't help but help sadness and worry she felt. Would he be safe, or would he despair like his father? Caught up in her thoughts, she didn't notice as had stopped eating and was looking intently at her with concern. Mom, are you okay? The smile popped back on her face immediately. Of course, dear, just lost in thought. Now you did remember to pack everything, right? Do you have enough underwear? The boy's face lit up with a deep red and he sheepishly nodded. He was so much fun with messed up. Before they knew it was over, and the moment she was dreading and the moment he was looking forward to had arrived. Both Ash and Delia got up from the table and looked at each other for a moment, saying nothing. Well, Mom, I guess that it is. as sad as he tried to keep his face blank and the tears out of his eyes. Delia had no issue showing her emotions, brought her precious son into a deep hug as her eyes started to sparkle, making your dreams come true and promise you will stay safe, Patsy. Above all, know that your mother loves you very much. Losing the battle to completely keep his composure as returned the hug and his eyes began to water as well. I promise to be careful and I love you, Mom replied as in a soft voice. They stayed there like for a while, but all things comes to an end, firmly up separating from his mother. The determination gleamed returned to his eyes. I will be a Pokemon master, exclaimed as in a extravagant voice, giving her one more smile as quickly turned around, opened the door and stepped up through the early breeze of the morning toward the Pokemon Professor Oak lab. Watching her son take off with such determination as his mom, Delia couldn't help but chuckle. He's so much like you. I wish you could be here to see it, Red. As walked through some time, he crossed the small wooden bridge over the slow flowing river in Pallet. He could finally hear the crowing of Dodrio, signaling the start of the day for the majority of Pallet Town community. With luck, that would mean the other trainers start their journey today would just be getting up, giving as the first pick of the starter Pokemon. Getting to the other side of the bridge, Ash looked up and saw the familiar yellow and red level 3, complete with 4-point windmill. Giddy with excitement, Ash ran through the metal gate and sprinted up the step to the door, knocking loudly. He exclaimed, "Professor Oak, it's me, Ash Ketchum, ready to get my first Pokemon." The door slowly opened and Ash quickly stepped through, only to see a smirk face of Gary Oak. "Today you are in time, as he was," said Gary with a smirk on his face. Ash moved quickly evaporate upon seeing his childhood rival was already there. Throughout his childhood, Gary Oak has been problem thorn in Ash's side and his near opposite in many ways. While Ash was confident, Gary was cocky. While Ash treated others with kindness, Gary put them down through and thought them beneath him. Especially as while Ash worked hard to study, Gary rested on his luxurious bugged and having a grandpa in Pokemon business. Speaking of bringing up his grandfather, guess it doesn't hurt having family in Pokemon business, does it, Azzy? Gramps let me stay over last night so I could get first choice. Too bad for you, loser, laughed Gary. Take a look at this, as said Gary as he pulled it a Pokeball and began to toss it around in the air. We haven't even left Palette and I am already ahead of you. Hope this wasn't the one you were hoping for, Assy boy. Gary, you sneaky little. But Gary cut him off. I don't want to hear it, as besides I can't afford to waste time talking to you. Smell you later. With that, Gary was quickly gone with chuckling to himself while a fuming Ash stayed behind. Just you wait, Gary. We will see who gets the last laugh when I become a Pokemon master first. Not waiting Gary to ruin the special day for him, as quickly threw out of his mind and focused the task at hand. Professor Oak, hello. Is that you, Ash? Earlier than expected, but can't say I'm surprised. Come upstairs, lad. Echoed the familiar voice of Professor Samuel Oak jogging up the stairs. Ash found Professor drinking a cup of coffee, standing in front of 3 additional Pokeballs. Professor Oak was a man in his early 50s, with a full head of grey hairs, wearing always his custom white lab coat, red shirt and a pair of khaki pants. He was also one of the world leading experts in Pokemon, specializing in the relationship between people and Pokemon. Oak turned to the young one and smiled bright and early, just like my grandson. Are you ready to bring your journey? Ash frowned at the mention of Gary and couldn't help but comment on the professor's apparent favoritism. Yeah, I'm ready. Would you have been nice to know that I could have slept at the lab for the first choice though? Muttered Ash clearly irritated voice. Yeah, well, Gary wouldn't stop bugging me until I gave in. I let him stay the night. Sorry about that, replied the embarrassed professor. In any case, there are still three wonderful Pokemon to choose from. How about I introduce you to them? Well, the professor picked up the three Pokeballs and tossed them in the air, revealing three marvelous creatures. Given how much you have studied, I am sure you are more than aware of what species each of the Pokemon are. Care to tell me? Asked Professor with a grin. In front of us, there were three Pokemon. At the very last was a small dinosaur-like creature with a tail of fire and orange body. The middle Pokemon had a green bub on his back and a light bluish green color for his skin. The final Pokemon at the end with a small brown fox with two pointy ears and a tail. It also had a slightly lighter brown mane. As the professor guessed, as knew each of these Pokemon by heart and was not afraid to say it. So, Professor, the one at the left is the fire starter Charmander, the one in the middle is the grass starter Bulbasaur, and the one on the right is the evolution Pokemon Eevee. Guess that means Gary chose Squirtle. I'm a bit confused though about Eevee. Yeah, I thought you might be. Normally there traditionally three starters are more than enough. However, there are four trainers starting their journey today and I am unable to produce an additional starter. Luckily, I am able to contact one of my associates, a man by the name of Bill, who provided me with this Eevee. As per up at the last comment, having studied some of the research published by the famous Bill. Oh my boy, I know the inclusion of Eevee may change things a bit, but have you made a decision? Asked the curious professor, as already knew what his first choice would be, and smiled to himself. Gary may have chosen first, but as first choice was still there. Seeing the Pokemon in flash made him know right away to stick with his gut. I have made my choice, Professor. I choose. And there is the fucking cliffhanger. And guys, I know many of you will not like about this, as starter will not be Pikachu, and you will get to know which one he will choose in the next episode. And if you didn't like the video, then just tell me on the comment section what to improve and how to improve. If you have any ideas, so just give me a review on that. And if you like the video, then why don't just give me a like so I can cheer myself up. And if you haven't subscribed still, then please subscribe it, because 92% of my viewers are unsubscribed. So please subscribe the channel and turn on the bell icon for the notification of these videos. So thanks for watching.